What if the person driving you somewhere had no intention of taking you where you asked? What if they knew exactly what they were doing when they typed in a completely different address? That thought never crossed my mind until one night last October, when I got into an Uber and my whole understanding of how safe I actually was in this world got completely shattered. I need to tell you this story because I think about it constantly. I think about all the small moments where I could have noticed something was off. I think about all the decisions I almost made differently. And I think about how close things came to going in a direction I don't even want to describe. So let me take you back to that night. It was a Friday. I had been at my friend Cassandra's apartment for her birthday dinner, and by the time I was ready to leave, it was almost midnight.
Hey,
I live about 20 minutes
navigation might be
away.
wrong.
Nothing
This place
crazy,
looks
just a
off.
straight shot through the city, and then into my neighborhood on the east side.
It's just a
I
shortcut.
opened the app, requested a ride, and within 2 minutes I had a match. Black Honda Accord, driver's name was listed as Marcus, and the estimated arrival was 4 minutes. The car pulled up, and I checked the license plate like I always do. It matched. I got in. He was friendly at first. Cheerful, even. He asked me how my night was. I told him I had just been at a birthday dinner, and he made some small talk about how he loved this part of the city on weekends. I put one earbud in, which is my usual thing, half listening to music and half staying aware. Everything felt completely normal. About 5 minutes into the ride, I glanced at my phone to check how much longer we had, and something immediately felt wrong. The little car icon on the map was not heading toward my apartment. It was moving east, yes, but then it curved south in a direction that made no sense. My street runs north. We should have been going north. I told myself it was probably just a traffic thing. Maybe he was avoiding construction or something. I watched the screen for another 30 seconds and the route kept going the wrong way. We were heading toward an area I did not recognize. Industrial looking. Fewer lights. I said something. I said, "Hey, I think the navigation might be off. My place is actually north of here." He said, "Oh yeah, I know a shortcut, don't worry." His voice was completely calm. Too calm. Rehearsed, almost. I looked at the map again and we were now significantly off course. Not shortcut off course. Like, genuinely wrong direction off course. My stomach dropped. I started mentally running through my options. I had my phone. I could call someone. I could try to open the door. I could scream. I texted Cassandra. I said the driver is taking me somewhere wrong. Here's his name and the car info. She responded, immediately asking if I was okay, and I said I didn't know yet. Then, I did something that I think saved me. I spoke loudly and clearly. I said, "I just sent my location to my friend, and she's tracking this ride. I want you to take me to my actual address right now." I read my address out loud. The energy in the car changed instantly. Whatever ease he had been performing evaporated. There was this heavy pause, maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and then without saying a word he took the next left. Then another left. The route on my phone started correcting. We were heading north now. He didn't say anything for the rest of the ride. Not one word. The friendliness was completely gone. When he pulled up 2 blocks from my building and stopped the car, I got out fast. I didn't wait to see if he would explain. I didn't ask questions. I just got out and walked quickly,
Hey,
looking
I
back
think the
twice to
navigation
make
might
sure
be
the
wrong.
car wasn't
This
following
place
me.
looks off.
I got inside, locked the door,
Relax.
and sat on my
It's
kitchen
just a
floor for a few
shortcut.
minutes just processing what had just happened. I reported it through the app immediately. I included the driver's name, the vehicle information, and the timestamp of when the route deviated. I described exactly what happened. Uber sent me a generic message saying they were looking into it. I never got a real follow-up. I don't know what happened to that driver. I don't know if he's still on the platform. That part haunts me. Now here is what I want you to actually take away from this. Because this story isn't just about one scary night. There are things I learned that changed how I move through the world. First, always watch the map. Don't just get in and zone out. Open the route in the app and actually watch it for the first few minutes. If something deviates, say something immediately, not after 5 minutes of convincing yourself it's fine. Second, tell the driver up front that someone is tracking your ride. You don't have to make it dramatic. Just casually mention it. The app has a share trip feature, and you should use it every single time, not just when something feels off. Because sometimes things feel off too late. Third, trust the feeling that something is wrong before your brain has finished building the logical argument for why it's wrong. I spent 2 or 3 minutes talking myself out of my instincts because I didn't want to seem paranoid. That window of self-doubt is dangerous. Fourth, speak assertively and specifically when you feel threatened. I didn't ask politely. I stated facts. I said I had already told someone. I gave my real address out loud with authority. The specificity mattered. Vague discomfort doesn't create the same pressure as a clear, confident statement that someone else already has information. Fifth, report everything. Even if you got home safe. Even if you think you're overreacting. Report it with as much detail as you can and keep a record of what you sent. The platforms need that data, and other riders need that protection. I've talked to a lot of people about this since it happened, and I'm genuinely surprised by how many of them have similar stories. A route that went strange, a driver who got defensive when questioned, a ride that felt wrong from the moment the door closed. These stories exist everywhere, and most of them don't get reported because the person got home and convinced themselves it was probably nothing. It wasn't nothing for me. And I don't think it was nothing for them either. The part that sits with me most is how normal it all started. There was no obvious red flag when he pulled up. He matched the app information. He was pleasant. Nothing looked wrong. And that's the most unsettling lesson of all, which is that danger doesn't always arrive wearing warning signs.
Hey,
sometimes it arrives looking exactly like what you expected. And the deviation happens quietly, gradually.
Relax.
A few degrees off
It's just a
course,
shortcut.
until you look up and realize you're somewhere completely different from where you meant to be. I'm sharing this because I want you to be more alert than I was in those first 5 minutes. I want you to use that share feature before you even close the car door. I want you to say something sooner than I did. And if you ever find yourself in a ride that doesn't feel right, please do not wait to trust that feeling. If this story connected with you or reminded you of something similar, leave it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more stories like this, real experiences that change the way I see safety, I post every week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because I promise it is just as unsettling as this one. Stay aware out there. Seriously.